na 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 na. What a track, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes. Welcome to the Surrounded by Details podcast, and thank you so much for tuning in. It is Monday, December 11th, and it is exactly 1 p.m. here in Biggity Bangkok, and it is Monday. Every time I hear that word, I think of the week is about to begin, and all the people who do what they don't like. And then I realize, hey, wait a second, I can do whatever I want. So Monday is just as much a lovely day as all the other days of the week. However, today we're going to talk to a couple who probably has the same opinions about Monday, except when it comes to exercise and practice, because I can imagine after your day off the gym on Sunday that Monday is maybe it is a little bit more tricky when you train all the time. However, we're going to talk to the Fighting Farrells, Eddie and Brooke Farrell, who I got to know at the beginning of the year in Myanmar for a World Lethwei event. I was taking the photos, and Eddie was fighting on the card. I think he was co-main event back then as well. So we're going to bring them in over WhatsApp because they are located in Phuket, which is down south here in Thailand, and I'm located in Bangkok. So we have to do it over the WhatsApp chat app. We did it over Skype in our last episode, by the way, Tyrone Vandermeer, and it always amazed me, the technique and technology. You can just call somebody up and immediately you can have a conversation. We don't need to send letters anymore, but what we need to do is, of course, to mention our sponsor, the Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, before I start. As always, if you are in Bangkok or if you have plans to come and visit the lovely city of Bangkok, then please make sure to get your booking in with the Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe. And if you already are a fool, which I hope you are not, but if you already have a place to stay, then please go there anyway, because there's lovely people, a amazing green curry if you're into Thai food, and great music, great craft beer. It's gonna be a amazing time, I can guarantee you that. And on December 16th, by the way, we're gonna have the big 2017 Surrounded by Details year recap. So we're gonna look back on past episodes, we're gonna look back at everything that happened in the year of 2017. So we're gonna live broadcast from the Dreamcatcher, and during the podcast there will be 20% off all drinks and all food, so come and join us. We're also going to give out some prizes, which we haven't really defined what these prizes are gonna be, but we're gonna give out stuff, and who doesn't like stuff for free? Yes, with that being out of the way, it is almost time to go to the Fighting Farrells, and I hope they are not caught up in fighting at the moment, because that seems what they do all the time, all over the place. So I'm very happy that we could arrange a day in between practice and work where they can come on the show. We have 1.5 hour time, so there is plenty of time to discuss things. And if you want to join the discussion, then please use the chat, the live chat option that is available. If you are watching on YouTube, it is on the right side of your screen, or should be. Otherwise, there is something wrong with your screen. Yes, so let me go to the WhatsApp machine. Had a great weekend, by the way. One championship was in town. I enjoyed shooting the event, and of course, I enjoyed seeing all the people that you work with, and also other people who came visit the event. I had a really good time, and at 6 a.m. the morning after the event, it was time for me to go to bed. So yesterday I only had a little bit of sleep because I need to edit the photos, because I have a deadline to keep. So there was loads of editing going on yesterday, and last night I actually grabbed a good amount of sleep. So I woke up this morning and I immediately felt good, despite the fact that it is Monday. So I was doing, there we go. Okay, WhatsApp is asking me to save the WhatsApp number first, so I shall do that. I could have done that before the show, by the way, but since it is my show, I can do whatever I want. And sometimes I'm a little bit lazy, so I kill some time here while I added the contact in my phone. Ka-ching. Done. And time to push the button. There we go. Call. And let's see.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. Hello, are you both there, Eddie and Brooke?
Yes.
Awesome. I hope I don't interrupt in some sort of fight because you two always seem to fight. So I hope that you actually have a good time at the moment. Lean back and open up to my audience. We are going to discuss loads of things. But first of all, how was your weekend? What did you do with your day off yesterday, Sunday?
Yesterday, day off. So, I don't know, we usually try and get out of the house because during the week we spend all day training and recovering, not doing much. So, yeah, on Sundays we try and go to the beach or, I don't know, just do something a bit different.
We try and be humans and, do it even though you don't. Get out and do something, dress up for once a week instead of just Muay Thai pants all week,
But what do you feel more comfortable in, when you're dressed up or when you're wearing Muay Thai pants?
Muay Thai pants.
100%. Yeah, I was not long ago. I was visiting Tiger Muay Thai because I was shooting for one championship, a little editorial with Shannon and Rika, and I passed by, and Eddie was, of course, wearing Muay Thai pants, and Brooke was training as well. You constantly practice from Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday. The Thais like you're training twice a day, every day, and running a lot. But Tiger's pretty good. They're more advanced in their what's it called? Their training programs and stuff. They include rest and recovery, strength conditioning, kickboxing training instead of just Muay Thai. And there's just so many options and a varied schedule of training. It's heaps better for performance, and it's the new era of the way to train, I guess, instead of just the old school Thai twice a day. It's just not too tired.
Yeah,
so it's good.
Is that one of the reasons why you moved down to Phuket? Because if I remember correctly, at the beginning of the year where we get to know each other, you were training in Chiang Mai.
We moved down mainly because we want to focus on kickboxing now in China and not just focus, but have that.
It's good to have the option there. Tiger's a massive facility, so they've got so many options. Even if you wanted to move to MMA or just strictly K1, they've got it there. But the other gyms that we've been at, they've just been strictly Muay Thai, and they don't really a lot of gyms don't like you moving to K1.
Yeah, and it's a different sport. It's like saying baseball and golf's the same. It's not the same. Boxing, kickboxing and Muay Thai, it's completely different. Completely different.
So that is one of the main reasons why we.
So what are the other reasons? Because there's a huge difference in Chiang Mai, which is in the north of Thailand, to move down to Phuket. What is the benefits of Phuket life-wise?
We moved down as well because we get looked after at the gym at Tiger, and it's more sustainable to live here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But Phuket
we were getting by.
Sorry,
we were getting by. Chiang Mai was fine. We were getting by, but they were just teaching you just pure stadium style Muay Thai, the 5-round style, and in Phuket and at Tiger, it's better for training, and it's more expensive, but we can get by here with the help out of the gym as well.
Well, that always helps when you actually can work at the same time as you can train, and everything is under one roof. How long have you guys been in Thailand for in general?
It's been just over 2.5 years since we moved now. Yeah, so we started in Koh Samui. We spent 1.5 years there, and then we moved up north again, and we spent 1 year in northern Thailand, and now we've been back in Phuket for 2 months, I think.
Yeah, and just the flight hookups and stuff. It's better here, and not traveling so much. Phuket's a cheaper airport to fly in and out of, and it's just closer and more convenient and. Yeah. Better burgers,
But you can you always eat burgers, especially when you're on a weight cut?
What's that?
Can you always enjoy the burgers because you are often on a weight cut? You fight so much and you train constantly. So can you eat whatever you want, or do you have to really watch out what you eat?
Eddie just fought on Sunday, and I just fought on Wednesday, and so ever since we've finished our fight, we've been on a bit of a burger binge. But this is the only time where it's okay, because usually, we are watching what we eat.
I think Western fighters that fight less overseas in Europe and Australia and stuff, they have longer camps and more time to diet. But living here and fighting so frequently, you need a bit of a downside whether you should eat them or not. you need a little bit of a life. Like, you need to enjoy it. And yeah, I do pay a bit more in the weight cut, but otherwise, if I didn't have my food, there'd be nothing for me.
There's nothing else to live for except for burger days. So every day is a burger day. How do you feel about that, Brooke? That the burgers seem to be more important to Eddie than you?
No, I don't know. I like my burgers as well.
All right, guys. But I'm also calling, and this is what actually interests me the most. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good burger, but I wanted to find out where everything started with the Farrells, because you are from Australia. I know, Brooke, thanks to your Facebook profile, it says Gold Coast. Eddie, I couldn't really figure out. Were you from the Gold Coast as well, or are you from other parts in Australia?
Yeah, we're both from the Gold Coast. We actually met at schoolies. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like the end of high school party. So I actually picked Brooke up, and I was a toolie. I was like 19 years old, and Brooke was 17 years old. So we've actually been together for 10 years. So it's a long time since Brooke was 17.
Respect, man. Did you have any issues in the beginning, or did you immediately feel okay? We both have the interests for the same thing, such as fighting. Was fighting already a part back then, or was that something that came later?
Not at all. Oh well, no. Back then, we used to party a lot. Actually, like, we weren't going to the gym or doing anything healthy.
I used to do boxing with my dad, like, growing up, but I never took it serious until we moved to. We traveled a little bit.
Yeah, stuff. Eddie's dad is a boxing coach, and has a lot of involvement in that, but. I don't know, being a teenager, you don't really take anything seriously until you find it yourself a little later on, you know?
Yes.
But, like, when, after, like, 8 months of being together, we actually moved to Airlie Beach. We worked on the islands for a bit, and we ended up traveling Australia for a few years. But we spent some time in Darwin. That's where Eddie first learnt kickboxing.
Yeah, I got into performance gym in Darwin. I got into just that's where I learned to love it. It's like they're all heavyweights pretty much, the way they train, and it's just like a knockout style and just really tough and just watch the old K1 videos. That's where it hooked me.
Okay, so you started with social media, YouTube, saw videos, and then you thought, I'm gonna try this myself.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's the right way often, when interest gets created by yourself instead of other people putting you to a jiu-jitsu school or jiu-jitsu class. I had to go as a kid. Don't get me wrong, I forgot everything by now, but my parents kind of demanded that I should go to do jiu-jitsu, and I never really enjoyed it. But then once I find my own stuff that I enjoyed, where the interest came from YouTube videos or whatever, I get into it really deep. You really get excited, and then once you do it, you take it more serious than anything else, basically.
And you learn a lot better like that too, because it's like, you know, igniting your own passion for it instead of it like sort of forced on you.
Yeah, I think like all like the gymnasts that the parents push young, and even boxing the parents push young, you're always looking to find a way out because you didn't choose it. But when you find it when you're a bit older and you choose it yourself, the passion is and the fire is just so much stronger. And
I think you appreciate the discipline in it a lot more as you get older too, you know. Like as a it's good when you're a kid, you know, but
you discipline yourself because you love it, instead of when you're in discipline when you're younger, you blame it on your parents and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you can always blame everything on the parents. That always works, no matter what issues you have in your life. But I have to ask a quite obvious question, and I don't want to offend anybody, but to get into fighting as a guy is one thing, and I can imagine that more people support that as when you are actually a woman and get into fighting. What was the first reaction of family and friends, Brooke, when you got into fighting?
That's a good question, actually. Well, like, I started just doing it for fitness, and like, we came to Thailand on a holiday, and we were training at this gym, just like a couple of random sessions. I hadn't really done much of it before, and I was watching this girl, and she was in there sparring these guys, and I remember saying to Eddie, "Oh my God, she's so tough. Like, I can't imagine ever doing that. Like, it's so scary." I thought this woman was so scary. This was in Koh Samui when and Yeah, and then like probably a year later, I sparred for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is actually awesome!" Like being able to keep
What?
up with the guys and like being like feeling good and confident at such a male like dominant sport. Like I don't know, it's made me really excited.
I think there's a lot of, even like as Brooke's getting better and stuff now, there's a lot of backlash. There's a lot of things go on as being a woman fighter than like a male fighter. Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot to do with like training with guys at different nationalities that they can't accept that if a woman's ever better than them. You know what I mean? Like, and there's always going to be a woman better than you. Like, there's women better than me, and I'm not going to try and overpower her, but she's better. I'm not going to get frustrated, and they just can't take it that there's a woman that's more skillful than them, and they overcompensate with power, and they try and knock you out all the time. Like,
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that, Eddie? Because obviously at some points you guys started training together, and is it always easy to train with each other because you also have a private relationship, and then people are at different stages of their craft and fighting. So how did that work for you?
yeah, that's true. Like, I think we can train at the same gym and stuff, but we do our own thing. We try not to like talk much and stuff, but
I like that. Yeah, Eddie gets annoyed at me because I'm a bit of a chatterbox and I try to talk.
Yeah, I can't handle it. But like me being Brooke's trainer, it doesn't work. It can't work.
Yeah.
You know? And we were actually talking to someone about this the other day, and it ruined their relationship. I think just being a trainer and trainer and student, like it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible to.
I think it's better to have like a separate coach who you just respect as a coach, because otherwise, I don't know, you feel like you can get away with too much. I guess it would be like a family member as well. I think it would be hard to have like your dad as a trainer, or I don't know, something like that.
Because you know, like your training's got to be tough, and you got to do things when you don't want to. And I think I don't know. Sometimes you wouldn't snap out of that being back at home, and then create problems, and you know, I don't know. It'd be very hard for it to work, like husband and wife, trainer and fighter.
Yeah. But in saying like us training together, like we have spent like probably close to a year without. Well, there's been a few fights that we've both had where we haven't had any training partners except for ourselves. Except for each other. So like we've had to spar with each other like every day, and you know, and that really works. Like that first bare knuckle fight I had where I met you, I only trained with Brooke that whole training camp. So it is a benefit as well, and some people make it work. Like Kaylee Reese and her husband. Kaylee Reese is a student and her husband's the trainer, and you know she's a world champion, so it definitely can work. But
I guess there's always exceptions to the rule. Some people can do it, and some people know themselves very well, which I think, or get I get the impression of that you guys know yourselves very well and avoid problem that are a little bit further ahead. So that is also a very nice approach to see, that you just realize, okay, maybe this could cause problems later on. Let's just avoid it from the beginning. It's that's thinking that should be very appreciated. A lot of people think, no, we just don't have the effort to get this done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like there has been times where like Eddie's had to hold pads for me or something, but it's just been like a one-off sort of thing. But for it to be like a full-time, like he's my only coach, or
she doesn't respect me as a trainer. True though, you know, like there's things where
I do try and get away with a few things.
Yeah, you know, like she's like, you're hitting my punches too hard. You're doing this, but it's true. Like with a trainer, and if he was doing that, she wouldn't say that, and then it just interrupts the whole session massively.
Yeah, it's true.
But surprisingly, you corner each other. How come that you decide not to be each other's trainers or train with each other, but then when it comes to the fight, you corner each other?
Yeah, true.
Good questions, eh?
I think it's because of the sparring. Like we've sparred each other so much, like, and we never have ever had any problems in sparring or clinching or anything like that. So, and I think that's where you get to know a fighter is, you know, in their sparring, and you know what they like to do. And
but at the same time, like I'm super enthusiastic in the corner. I'm like, I even got banned from Brooke's corner because I'm too enthusiastic.
That doesn't surprise me at all, by the way.
But yeah, I think it helps in the fight. Like when you're fighting and you have a loud, good corner. Like I've had a loud corner, but
yeah, like you can see it in the fight that I just had. You can hear Eddie like screaming for me like what to do, and like I actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
and I think it does put the other fighter like. You know, it does put them off a little bit, you know, me being so loud. Like, every time Brooke lands a hit, I'm like, oh, hey! Like, and then if Brooke lands an elbow, I'm like, oh! Like, I try to make it out like, you know, give up, hurry up and give up. Like.
No, that is very funny, actually. I have to listen to the video. I saw bits and pieces of the fight. You posted it online on your Facebook page, the Fighting Farrells. For the people who want to follow the Fighting Farrells, by the way, Facebook is one place to do that. But are there moments, because I've been shooting fighting for around 2.5 years now, and I've seen a lot of fights, and I kind of see people when the round is over and they have to go back to the corner, they calm down, they listen to their corner, and during the fight, the corner is always screaming. But are there moments where you just turn around and say, shut the fuck up, I know what I'm doing?
Brooke said that a few times to me.
No, but it's not because I know what I'm doing. It's because of the over enthusiasm. Like Eddie will be like really screaming in my ear when like I just want to relax. So I've told him a couple of times, like, okay, I can hear you, just chill out. But
I'm getting better now, mainly because I just look at the good trainers that corner me, and I try and do. I'm like, oh yeah, that works. So I try and do that for Brooke. So the first 30 seconds, I don't say anything, and I just get her to do like big deep breaths and stuff. But
yeah, the first 2 rounds you're okay, and then it gets a bit full on.
Yeah, maybe I can recommend Wim Hof to you. He has a breathing technique in order to bring the body down a little bit. Maybe that is what you should do during the first round, and then slowly, when you calm down, you can follow up your trainer action.
All that stuff really works, hey, like just breathing techniques, calm, mental
like
stuff, meditation.
Yeah.
Like, if people don't believe in it, they've got like that. They need to open their mind up, and they're actually disadvantaging themselves by being stuck.
I think a lot of people just don't have the chance to actually try it out, because once you try it out, you really see that it works. I came in touch with breathing techniques 3 or 4 years back. I was living on Koh Tao for a while, which is not too far from Koh Samui, and I was trying to shoot a freediving project with Pepe Acros, who I also had on the podcast, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But I tried freediving, and they had on their flyers, we guarantee you to hold your breath for 3 minutes after 2 days. And that was, and I was like, wait a second, does that really work? By the time I was smoking cigarettes really heavily, so I was like, okay, let's try this out, and it really works, and it actually helps you in the beginning if you're a smoker, because your lungs are a little bit more flexible than original lungs. So in the beginning, for freediving or breathing techniques, smoking actually helps you. That's what I heard.
Well, that 3 minutes is crazy, man. That would help a lot of martial artists.
Yeah.
Well, Wim Hof is actually training more and more martial arts fighters.
What?
What's that? Sorry?
Wim Hof, the Dutch guy who does all the breathing techniques, he's actually holding a lot of speeches and conferences about breathing techniques, and there's a lot of fighters, a lot of athletes that start to get into it. Sensory deprivation tanks is another thing that could improve your mind and your skills of just staying calm, which I know you guys did as well at Indigo Float, right?
I don't think people realize that fighting is like I don't know. Yeah, it's like equal, if not more important than the physical aspect, you know, the mental side and everything. But yeah, we did the float tanks. There's one like not too far from us here, Float Indigo. And yeah, we've been there a couple of times, and every time it just gets better and better, hey.
Yeah, it's you need to, I think you switch your mind off earlier, and those breathing techniques slows your heart rate down, and
there's like heaps of different techniques that they can teach you, like for fight, like specifically before a fight, you know, to like focus on, and yeah, just get you like mentally ready and confident.
How easy is it to keep up with all that? Because as you said, fighting is so much more than just the physical part, but there's so much you need to train. First of all, you're striking, kicks, then you need condition, you need strength, you need to have your mind in the right place. How do you keep up with all that kind of training? Because you can obviously not do everything at once, unless you start fighting in a float tank, which is not recommended.
And there's so much to think about, hey.
It's never ending, really.
Like you need, like you just said, all of that, then plus rest and recovery, plus overtraining, plus strength conditioning, plus then the mind side of it is like 90% once you've finished training, because you've got 2 days off, you're not training anymore, and then it's just mental, and then they're cutting weight. And
I think it all takes time as well, you know, because like from when you start in whatever combat sport you're doing to like wherever you are now, you know, like it takes so much time to get to know yourself and what works for your body, and you know, everyone's so different, and you know, you can't learn everything all at once. You just got to be like,
I think you got to listen to your body, and the mind stuff, it's hard too, like, because I've been in really good mind states and trained really hard, like that last Lethwei fight. I was too, like you said, I was too eager, and I wanted it too much, and I did all the mind visualization stuff, and I was ready to go, like confident, but I was too hungry, and like doing too much of that mind stuff, it fucked me up a bit, like
made you like too keen.
Too keen, you know. So you need a balance as well. So I learnt from that. Don't do it as much, and just go into the fight confident and ready, but like I was repeating affirmations over in my head, and it was just a bit too much. I got myself too worked up.
Yeah.
So I think if you're more confident and see stuff coming and be a bit more calm is more deadly, I think.
Yeah. I think my dad always used to say, alles in Maßen, nicht in Massen. That is German, and basically means everything in the right amount. It doesn't matter if you go out and have a party and you have a couple of drinks, or if you train, or if you eat. Everything has to be in the right amount. And that is obviously very, very difficult to find the right spot and the right moment shortly before your fight, because you need to time that spot as well. Which leads me to my next question, because now we talk all about this stuff that belongs to fighting, and you have to know yourself. But when you have your first fight ever, you obviously don't really know yourself. Can you guys walk me through your first fight? And were you already calm back then, or were you nervous as fuck?
Do you want to go, Eddie? Or?
Yeah, well, I think 99% of people, well, I don't know, I reckon, 80% whatever, people flip out and they're nervous. I was hell nervous. I still get nervous. You know?
But you see, for my first fight, I was not nervous at all. Like, no, I think it's because I like didn't know what to expect. You know, I was just really excited and happy to be having my first fight.
I was worried. I was like, what's wrong with this girl? I thought she lost a couple of screws in her brain or something. I thought she was gone.
Yeah, Eddie was trying to give me water before my fight, and he was shaking, and it was going all over my face.
So you basically had to do the corner work and bring Eddie down instead of the other way around.
Seriously, I did. I was like, Eddie, stop stressing. I'm fine. I'm just really happy to finally be having my first fight, you know? But, yeah, Eddie, how'd you feel? Like your first fight?
Oh, my first fight. I was with my dad my first fight, so I fought really. I was nervous, but I felt like that's why it's good to have a good team and a good corner, and you're only as strong as your corner. You know what I mean? Like if you have a real crazy corner, you know you feel like that's behind you, and you got to match that. You know, I actually had a bit of a Facebook discussion. Like argument about
Never have arguments on Facebook, man. That's the biggest mistake you can do.
Disgusting. I was just laughing about it and typing stuff for people having a go. But it was about Mike Tyson, how he one of his fights he knocked this guy in the first round, and then the guy was too scared to come back out in the corner from the second round, and
and the guy, like, what did he do? He walked off and
he wouldn't, and he walked away from his corner,
and his corner was yelling at him to get back in and fight, weren't they?
Yeah. That is crazy.
And he just walked out of the ring, and it was like a big Mike Tyson show, and people are saying, like, you know, you need to go with your feelings. If you didn't feel ready to fight, that's fair enough. But I was, you know, you're a fighter. He's taking that fight. He should be ready. And I think that's
to have trust in your corner. You know,
have trust in your corner. Listen to your corner.
But you need trust in yourself before you step in the ring. So I don't think he should have ever stepped in there if he was doubting himself in the beginning. You know.
Yeah.
I think that is something that makes fighting so interesting for me, because it is the bond between the people who train with each other. It's so crazy to me, the amount of trust that you need to have for each other, and also believe in, because a lot of people when they lose, they apologize to everybody, but they don't really need to apologize. It's a loss that I think everybody is part of in one way or another. The whole team. That always surprises me, that fighting is a team sport, even if you have one individual doing all the action.
It's so true. Hey, you really, your team supports you so much through everything, because really they're the only ones that know exactly what you're going through, before the fight. You know, there's so many ups and downs, and like training physically and mentally. It's a really crazy roller coaster, and the only people that truly understand what you're going through is your team. So going in the fight, it is like a team sport, really, even if you're in there alone, you know. You're in there alone, but you always have faith in yourself and your team that got you there.
Yeah, all those fights that get turned around and stuff, it's all from corner work, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you've seen, the fights, you know, someone will be, losing badly, and then all of a sudden they come back after talking with their corner, keen, and, you know, they turn the fight around.
Because most fights are simple, it's pretty basic, but it's just, when you're in there in the ring, I don't know, you have to trust your corner and they can see what to do. And
But despite the fact that there is such a strong bond between corner and fighter, I had a discussion with a unnamed fighter, and he basically said, when people tell you they are in there fighting for their family and for this and this reason, it's all bullshit, because the main reason why you fight is because you love this adrenaline rush that you get when you fight, and to punch somebody else in the face. Is that the same for you, or do you disagree?
No, I believe in that as well. You can dedicate a fight, I guess, but you know, you're not just a random on the street going to go, oh, I'm going to do this for my bloody. You're fighting. You're already fighting and training for a reason, and it is for yourself. You know, you have your own reasons.
Yeah.
And I think the main reason why I fight, and I don't know about other people, but yeah, what was it?
What?
Speak your mind. Speak your mind.
Well, for me,
it's for testing yourself. Going by fight day and stuff. I don't think many people want to fight on fight day.
Yeah.
and you fight and you get it done, and then you feel like you've grown and done something you don't want to do.
You just really
you get addicted to that.
Going through the whole motions of fighting. You train so hard, then training's finished. You have a few rest days or whatever your program is.
Yeah.
And in those days, you know, you go from highs and lows and all this. Yeah, it's crazy. But to be able to push past all of that and do something that is scary, you know, and you're really testing yourself in there. And then once you've done it, you walk out of the ring, you really walk out a new person, you know.
Yeah, that's why
you learn so much about yourself.
Yeah, it's not win or lose, because
you just learn so much about you. Not even as a fighter, you know, just as a human.
Yeah, personally, at the end of the fight, it's not about the result, win or lose. You want to win, but it's about doing what you didn't want to do and growing for yourself. You know,
Yeah. And as we all know, the biggest lessons in life come from defeat often.
Yeah, massively. That's where you grow the most, I think.
Yeah. Talking about dedicating fights and corner and all this stuff, at one point, because you guys, you do nothing else except for training, fighting, training, pancakes, burgers, and then back to training. When was the time when you guys actually decided, hey, wait a second, this could be something that could supply us with the right energy to do what we want in life? We want to travel, we want to fight. Let's make this a full-time job. When did that switch came, and how did your people around you act or react?
I think you take that on. We took that on as soon as we moved over here, because when you get sponsored at a camp, they expect you just to fight. There's always something in it for both parties, you know what I mean? And that's when it's a full-time thing. You can't just rock up to training now and then. But that's the choice. I don't know, you sort of feel owned a little bit by, you can't say no to
Well, you can, you know, but
that's why you got to be at the right gym, you know?
Yeah.
But how did your family react? Because I often have people on, of course, who have quite an interesting journey that involves traveling or moving abroad, and everybody has different reactions. How was the reaction from your family, brothers, sisters, family? Because yeah, I'm moving to Thailand because I'm gonna live from full-time fighting. Doesn't really sound like a proper plan for most of the people.
No, it's not normal, but I think our families are used to us not being normal. Like, we traveled Australia and we were away from home for like many years before we moved.
Okay.
And there's been so many times where we've tried to like settle down and be normal humans, but every time, like, it doesn't last longer than what, like 6 months or something, and then we're doing something weird.
I think we're always seeking something that we didn't know what we wanted, and in fighting you find that as you put yourself out of the comfort zone all the time, and it's always, your head's crazy, you know. But I think you get addicted to that. That's why a lot of fighters, when they retire, like, if they don't become a trainer, like, their life goes into shambles, sort of.
Yeah, like,
unless they've got a good plan, but they usually stay around Muay Thai. If not, all that dedication and structure and it's like, I think the guys from the army as well, it's the same. They leave the army and they're a bit fucked up.
I think it's because you dedicate your whole life to it, you know, and then you lose that when you retire, the structure and the discipline and everything that you've learned. Like, it's just do me one favor. Don't do any comebacks, because I always get so annoyed when I see fighters on TV or whatever, and then they say, yeah, I'm gonna retire, and then 2 years later, yes, I am talking about Georges St-Pierre, but also other fighters, they come back. I think a lot of people are afraid of actually moving on once they are done with that. And in my opinion, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm a hypocrite, because I'm the very much same with my camera stuff and some other stuff. But at the very same time, I also think that there is a point in life where you actually need to move on and let go of what you were doing. Yeah, I think you have to be really ready for it, you know?
You have to be, I think you have to include it in part of your training. You know, it's like the same thing. You need to accept it. And
did you guys ever have a plan B in case this doesn't work out?
Oh, I don't think we ever have any plans ever. Yeah. We just always winging it.
Yeah, we're always winging it. When we go somewhere, like, you never book a combination, just wing it. Yeah. That's everything in life. Just go for it. And I think that's a good attitude for fighting, because you never say no to a fight. You know,
I 100% agree.
Got to be ready for whatever, because, you know, life is just crazy. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I don't know. For me, like, planning things in advance and stuff, like, I don't know. You just need to...
I don't know, which means I don't really give a shit, because I don't care. And that is exactly the attitude you should have. A lot of people, in my opinion, who have a plan B if they do something drastically as a move abroad, I think that is always the first step to defeat, because then you get comfortable at one level and say, okay, I have my plan B, I move on to that. But if you really put yourself out there in the open, that's when you have to go for it. And that's often when the most beautiful things happen to you in life.
It's always like, whatever you do in life, there's always going to be options, you know. Like there's always, if something doesn't work out, there's a million other paths that you can go on, like, that you don't even need to think about that. Like, as soon as something doesn't work out, like, you will see other options or other pathways or other things that you want to do. So just knowing that is like a plan B, I guess. But
it's meant to be. Just keep going, keep flowing.
Exactly. Yeah. But the question is how far we can go, because we all know the earth is flat. So at some point we will all fall down. And yes, I just did that, ladies and gentlemen. I built in the flat earth, hashtag not a native English speaker. Real quick question, because I don't want to get too deep into the subject. I got to ask you, what's up with you and the flat earth?
Well, you know, like, there's so many different conspiracies going on, but really, like, so who knows what is really going on, but, like, with the flat earth, like, you just can't trust anything. Like, they were doing the what is it called, like, when the photos of the earth, like, nothing from NASA is real, you know. It's like, who can you trust?
Because it's
Who knows? Yeah. There's proof that the government's lied before, so who really knows what's going on here?
I think the baseline on all of that is don't trust anything unless it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless nothing. Don't trust anyone.
Question everything.
Yeah, question everything.
Yeah, I
That's it.
totally agree. I just had to laugh so hard when you wrote that because I was preparing my year recap for the year 2017, and I was looking up funny news in the past year. And of course, one of the big news were that the flat earthers were not allowed to launch their rocket, which is called Mad Mike. And 5 seconds later, you wrote that on Facebook, and yeah. I pissed myself, man. I had a really good time. And then somehow I ended up in flat earth theory videos because I wanted to understand how they think, but that was a mission impossible. So yeah, I cut that off quite fast. But
you can't knock it. Like everyone will knock it until they actually sit down and see the facts and have a look at like who's the guy that does this good documentary.
Yeah.
I remember, but I don't know. There's just like you got to stay open to anything in life, you know.
Exactly.
Like, really, who knows what's going on here?
And at the same time, you also have to manage your fuck budget, right? You need to learn what to give a fuck about and what not. Eddie and Brooke. So let's move on here because we're drifting off into conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. You are now past your first fight. And that happened in Thailand for both of you. You started training Muay Thai, but then at the beginning of 2017, I was shooting a event which Eddie already mentioned, the World Lethwei Championship, which is in Yangon, Myanmar, and that's when we met the first time. So Eddie comes from Muay Thai and decided to try out Lethwei. How much did you hear about Lethwei in advance, and how did you get into that fight? And did Brooke say yes immediately, or do you guys disagree on certain fights?
Like I had a faint. I always seemed like the Thai fight card check the ropes and stuff, and I heard about Myanmar. They actually that's all they do there in Myanmar, and I got offered the fight through my friend Curtis Allen. His uncle or his friend or uncle is a Dutch guy that's Chris Ngimbi. He's like a Dutch promoter and a fighter, and he offered the fight to me. So I came all the way from the Netherlands that fight. And
I don't know. Well, when we were living in Koh Samui, they have a weekly show there where they have a 3-round bare knuckle fight. And when we first moved there, Eddie hadn't had as many Muay Thai fights as he's had now and experience, but he always
that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's all he wanted to do, and he was begging the trainers to let him do it and try it, and they all said no, and he was like, fuck, one day I am gonna do it, you know. And when the fight got offered, I was like, I didn't want Eddie to do it, you know, but he's been wanting to do it for so long, and then it just came, you know, he had to do it.
I had to do it because you know,
yeah, man.
I'm not scared of it, but I needed to do it, and I'm actually doing that bare knuckle fight in Koh Samui in a week and a half. I'm doing it, so I'm going back to do it finally.
So.
Nice. Well, you obviously made the right decision because you immediately became a people's favorite. The first fight you had against Tutu, who is now the world champ, it is a fight, let's be honest, that could have gone in either direction, but unfortunately you were not from Yangon, so you lost the first fight. But what a war that was. Walk me through that first Lethwei fight when you actually were there and you were about to fight bare knuckle for the first time professionally.
You know what? Like when I got the match up, I don't YouTube my opponents at all anymore, or Facebook them. I didn't know who. I had a faint idea that he was like a champion or whatever. I didn't look him up, and I don't let it get in my head. I just let like Brooke do it or my trainers do it, and they were just telling me, "Oh yeah, you know, you can fight him, do this," and they always dull it down a bit. So I never like look up my opponent so it gets in my head like any of that stuff. So I went into the fight like just like a local fight, like I'd just fight anyone. So I had the confidence there. But when I was at the stadium, when I actually first seen the fights before me, the bare knuckle fights, like we were all going, "This isn't Muay Thai," and people were freaking out. Like they were getting knocked out from headbutts, and like it's not the same skill set. It's
because like when we were there, we were in the tent warming up and everything, and people were going in and out like so quickly, you know, because most of the fights ended in the first round by KOs, and everyone was coming back to the tent, coming up to me and Eddie, going, "Oh, watch out for the headbutt."
Yeah, I think how many foreigners were on that first card? I think 5 or 4 or 5,
something like that. Yeah,
I think all the foreigners except for me got knocked out in the first round.
By headbutts, that is very correct.
Yeah, all of them did. And that, I don't know, that did get in my head a little bit, like when I seen everyone else like getting knocked.
I don't think it really like affected you that much, you know, because we knew that there were headbutts and everything, but it wasn't until like you got the first headbutt. I think.
No, headbutts never freaked me out. It was more just the style of fighting. I was like, fuck, you know. But headbutts don't scare me, you know. It's just like an elbow. Elbows are worse.
Did you train anything in advance for the headbutts? Because elbows, you know, fists, you know, kicks, you know, but headbutts, how do you train that? Or do you just say, okay, just don't get into any trouble close to the head? Or how do you train that headbutt defense?
Yeah, like I never trained it, and when I was doing it, because living in Thailand, Myanmar, and like Muay Thai and Lethwei, there's a big rivalry. They don't like each other from the war days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, like my trainers at the time, like, oh, headbutt, and they punch the body, and they just laugh at it, and like, no, elbow, clinching, like they believe their style, you know, that they don't like Lethwei and Myanmar, so they're not very open to training their style. So, but now since I've been at Tiger, Dave Leduc, he's
the
like
king of Lethwei.
Yeah, he trains. I've trained with him a little bit, like Lethwei, and he like headbutts and clinching and shit, and he trains Lethwei. He doesn't train Muay Thai, and you can train Lethwei. So you can train with headbutts with headgear, and it changes the game massively. He's really good at it. You know, he's a good bare knuckle fighter. Yeah, but he doesn't have a Muay Thai or kickboxing style at all.
Brooke, you ever got interested in starting a Lethwei career, or do you say, no, that is maybe a step too far for me?
You know what? I've actually been offered twice now to fight Lethwei.
Ooh.
The first time, what happened? The show, like
that last event, it was meant to be like, I think WLC wanted like a guy and a girl and a couple, like a double couple fight, like me and Brooke fight, and then another couple fight against, I don't know, something like that. But it never happened.
That is an interesting idea, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just never happened. But I've been offered it again, and I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. You know, I've heard a lot of not so good stories about females fighting bare knuckle and some like permanent damage that can happen, and like it can end your fighting career. So I don't know. It's just I'm not sure about it. You know, but I've been thinking like next year that I will give like MMA a go, or like something in smaller gloves, you know. But I just don't know about the bare knuckle yet. I don't think Eddie wants me to do it either.
It is, you know. It is the most brutal sport in the world. Like it's
100%.
It's more intense than MMA because it's just standing up, and there's like you've seen the hands, like how you do your hands. It's like it's worse than bare knuckle. It's just like tape. It's like knuckle busters, and I think girls' bodies, you know, like they can't handle. Feminist. Yeah, and I'm trying not to be, but it's true. Like they can't handle as much damage. Like they bruise easier, and their skin cuts easier. And I don't know about their skull and brain and stuff, but I think they take more damage. I'm not trying to be feminist, but
like I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just haven't formed a proper opinion on it yet. You know, I've been thinking about it, and I don't know. I just don't really know how I feel about it yet.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
looks like a real Muay Thai type of fighter, like technique and outclass your opponent. And Lethwei is not about that. It's about heart and grunt and
brawler.
And
it's like more brawler style. I don't think I have that. Like, I'm not like a brawler type of fighter. So I don't know. Yeah,
I think she can definitely do it, but we haven't made our mind up. It's good exposure and good money and good experience.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's for her or not.
Yeah. And you guys get to travel to Myanmar, which is one of my favorite countries here in Southeast Asia. But traveling always kind of brought you everywhere, because you just came back from China 2 weeks ago, I believe that was, and you were fighting K1, or what was going on over there?
Yeah, that was my debut in kickboxing.
Yeah,
and that was against like a really, really good guy straight away on WLF. It's like one of the biggest shows in China. Yeah, and I took the fight at a heavier weight class too, because it was a good opportunity, and I love it. Kickboxing is like my thing. it's an easier fighting style, and where I started, you know, like big hits in Darwin. So.
Yeah. And Brooke followed, or did you stay in Phuket? Because you had a fight not far away from the same date as Eddie.
Yeah, I stayed in Phuket this time, unfortunately. I wish I could have gone, but yeah, I had to finish up my own training because I was fighting 3 days after you. Yeah, 3 days later, so I had to finish up here.
Yeah, you got to be selfish as a fighter and put yourself first. Whether it sucks sometimes, but you got to think about yourself. Whether you're in a relationship, family, to be the best fighter, you have to put yourself first. And
I wonder how that works for you guys, because when you're not cornering each other, you kind of have to tell each other about the fights. Are you text messaging each other straight after the fight, or do you rather say, no, spoiler alert, I want to see the video once it's out?
Nah. Well, even if we're like with this China fight, like we weren't together, but we were like with each other every step of the way, you know. Like I was on the phone to Eddie just before he was at the stadium. Like we always I don't know, we know like how each other is feeling just before the fight. We know what we each need to hear before we fight. So yeah,
because there's no Facebook in China, so all I had was Brooke on WhatsApp. So I was pissing her off a bit.
Didn't I send you the VPN message? Get yourself
I downloaded it, but they're all blocked, man. You need to have like a good paying one now. China, they're onto it. Like no one's got anything there. They got WeChat.
Goddamn Chinese. They're getting so secure with all the internet.
Yeah, like China's their own world, man. Like there's no Google or anything, no YouTube. Like they've got all their own things.
Yeah, Yahoo. That took me a while to get that when I was in China for the first time. I was trying to get into Google and I was like, how am I supposed to know shit now? Where should I go? And then I figured out, wait a second, there is such thing called Yahoo, which was really awkward to use. However, it seems to me that you guys are so close, no matter if you corner each other or not, but you're in constant contact, so you constantly communicate either by body language or by talking to each other. But not every relationship is all sunshine and butterflies every day. I want to know how do you get along as a couple? I mean, what happens when you guys actually have a fight? Do you actually fight, or what happens?
Well, she didn't do the dishes the other day, so I just big leg kicked her, you know.
So dishes is leg kick, laundry is headbutt, and then whatever is submission.
Oh fuck. No, I don't know. Like we don't. Yeah, I guess like we don't really have like a normal relationship where like we're at work all day. Like our work is training, so we go to training together. Like we just. I don't know. We just really like help.
But we spend like a shitload of time together for the last couple of years. Like pretty much, I think we spend 24/7 together.
Yeah,
we really do.
But like,
a lot of couples cannot do that. Like can't do it. They'll fucking lose it.
Yeah, I know. Like
such a hater, man. Calm down.
It's true though. Like those mining couples and stuff, they appreciate the time and like a couple of hours. And that's good, but. All day they can't handle. I think we just try not to piss each other off, and we do have our own space and do our own shit.
Yeah, but like even before we moved to Thailand, like we were traveling together, or like we've always worked together as well. Like in Australia, we worked together in the same workplace, and like I don't know, I guess we've just like over time, like it has been like almost 10 years of being together. So I think over time, like we've always had really good communication with each other, and like we just really know each other really well, you know.
Like, I think that is a very, very strong thing that you guys are having going on. That is the right way to say it, because it really takes a kind of a soul partner. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but if you really find the lock to your bottle, that is when things like these happens, and you don't see them too often around these days anymore. How is the feedback that you get from the gym? Because I can imagine that sometimes people just get annoyed that there's always this couple, and I just hate it. I don't know how to explain that, because I'm not one of these people, but I know that there are people who just have that mindset and get annoyed by stuff like that.
Yeah, because we're in the relationship, we don't really like look outside of it, so I guess we do piss people off. No, because I don't know, because we've always got each other to talk to, and like people, every other fighter are by themselves, and you know they bond as a gym, but I guess maybe we are a bit ignorant sometimes and just like.
Yeah. But once again, it's all about the balance, man. And I also know you guys are not alone. You actually have a small family involving a dog who hangs around you guys all the time as well, even in the gym.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't be saying we are just 2 people. It's 3 people 24/7.
Yeah.
Does he come to fights as well, or is it that's obviously hard to get around though? I guess.
If I could, I would. Like I was thinking.
We've always wanted to Eddie's always wanted to walk Sage down before he fights, but I don't know if that's gonna ever happen.
I will. I guarantee it will happen.
One day, okay, we're gonna make this happen in one of your fights. Where I gonna be the photographer because I want a photo with somebody walking in with having the dog. That would be amazing. Would he corner you as well, or would you just have him for the walk-in?
Only if he ices my legs, he can do that.
Yeah, instead of throwing the towel to make wind, he's just licking your legs. So maybe that's his way of saying, "Come on, champ, you can do it." Yeah, guys, I have a question here on the live chat. Muay Thai Interviews is asking how it was for you guys to train with Cody Garbrandt last week.
Oh, he's still there. He's there today as well.
Oh, he's at Tiger Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a really nice dude. Hey.
Yeah, he's really humble. Hey.
Yeah.
Like just a really humble guy. But yeah, he was doing some sparring and stuff today as well, which was really cool to watch.
Yeah, his boxing is really, really good, like in head movement and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously MMA fighters, they we can't look at him saying, "Oh, how's his Muay Thai?" Because it's a different sport, different game. You got to stay flat-footed and stuff. But yeah, like I think his striking is insane, and he's a nice guy, and yeah, he's fast, he's super fit. Like he's an elite athlete. It's good to see,
How is it to train at Tiger Muay Thai, where you have people like this coming through basically every day? Does it annoy you because the Tiger facilities, they are massive, and I have to mention that because every time I talk about Tiger Muay Thai, massive training location, but shitty coffee. I just want to mention that Tiger Muay Thai, step up your coffee game. That is unacceptable. But is it annoying to train at such a big facility because you sometimes want to have more attention than you actually get because there's more important fighters or fights coming up than yourself? Does that annoy you?
Actually,
like our training is pretty good because. Like our class, there's a sponsored fighters only class. So we get to just have like train with the same people every day. It's not like it is a big super commercial gym, but people don't float in and float out like,
in our section. In our section
anyway.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like I've been at gyms when like the crazy Russian just comes in on holiday and he just wants to blow you. He's full of energy and he just wants to spar and blow your head off and walk off. Like you don't get that as much.
Yeah.
But actually, the sparring here is like next level. Like they got a team of like Uzbekistan guys and other everyone's like really high level,
Yeah,
like,
that's like the team that we were talking about before. Like it's really important to have like a really good team that you can work well together, and you have to have like people around you that are way better than you. Otherwise, how are you going to grow as a fighter?
I keep saying in my head, like, I know I'm on the same level, but there's some guys that are better than me, and I'm like, I've got to catch up, got to be there, and that makes me grow as a fighter a lot, and I don't even realize it. Like, it's just because I want to be the best. You want to keep up with them. Yeah, the competitive side of me, like, I always want to be the best. And
so for us, like, only good things coming from like having such high level fighters coming through,
Yeah, that is very inspirational. I can imagine when you have other people, different styles, and you can learn from each other. Once again, that is an ego question. A lot of fighters have a big ego and they refuse to learn from others just because they don't get along with a person, which is a huge mistake. You should, no matter if you like a person or not, you should always pay attention and you should always learn from it one way or the other, because there's more ways to learn from each other than just improvement. Sometimes you have to see the bad parts of a person and say, this is exactly what I don't want to be or to become. So open-minded and stay interested in change. That is basically what I'm trying to say. However, I have to ask you guys, what is coming next for you? Because Eddie was in China, Brooke just fought in Phuket. Brooke, what is your plan for the next year 2018, and how would you summarize from your perspective the year of 2017?
Well, we both want to have another fight before the end of the year
Of course.
Yeah. But next year, like I'm really hoping to
It will be.
Yeah, like it definitely will be like a really big year for both of us. Like I'm planning on giving K1 a go in China. And I also like want to see like how I'd go at MMA as well. So I wouldn't mind having an MMA fight.
Do you have a promotion in sight where you say, okay, this is where I would be interested in fighting MMA for the first time?
Yeah, there is one. We're still negotiating now. Both to fight in the Philippines in, I think it's January or February.
Nice.
But there's also like promotions in Thailand as well, in Phuket, and I don't know, there's just a lot of options down here, you know, that's why we like it. But yeah, so next year's gonna be pretty big, I think. And this year, like, I don't know, I was a bit disappointed because I had a bit of a shitty start to the year. Like I was really sick and I couldn't train, and I didn't have like the best experiences in my fights because I was sick. So I had to have like a couple of months away. But yeah, like now that the year's ending, like I'm feeling like I'm getting in my groove again and having like, I'm definitely getting my energy back, and I'm ready to like really step it up next year and have a really awesome year of fighting. It's really exciting. Yeah.
And do you want to fight Muay Thai or anything else for your last fight this year?
This year, or to finish this year, I think it'll be a Muay Thai fight, yeah.
Do you have a date in sight?
Looking at the 24th or the 28th.
24th, that would be Christmas.
Yeah. Well, if I fight, that's the benefit, you know. If I fight on the 24th, then I can just eat my way through the 25th.
That was actually meant as a compliment, because I always celebrate people that just don't give a shit about Christmas and do whatever they want. I play Xbox sometimes. I don't really care about Christmas at all, and other people might fight. Maybe that is a perfect present for Christmas. Who knows? A victory? I mean, what better can there be?
Yeah.
That's right. Christmas equals buffet. So.
Well, not if you fight, then it equals weight cut.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
What is your opinion, by the way, before we go over to Eddie here? What is your opinion about weight cutting?
You know, like there's been a lot of really sad
things going on.
Stories and things in the that's been going on like all around the world with weight cutting. And you know, there's safe ways to do it, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the fighters are lazy that they don't research the correct way, or maybe they don't have like
the right coach.
The right coach teaching how to do it, or maybe they don't have like the right support system. But like you need to really find what works for your own body, and like not everyone is different, you know, and you just really need to stay safe, hey, and like not cut too much.
Brooke's she's only ever cut like 1 or 2 kilos.
Okay, that's comfortable.
You know, like she does it properly, but when you do it properly, like fuck, you fight big people, man. Like you know, you want to do the right thing, but doing the right thing, you're putting yourself at a massive disadvantage, because I think every like 90% of people now, they're just huge. Like they're cutting like my weight division, they're cutting over 10 kilos, man, like in 48 hours.
Like you would think it would be different for like females and males, you know. I think it is a bit harder for females to cut a lot of weight, but females still are cutting too much weight. And really it's not healthy, you know. Like if you want to have children and have like a proper working system and stuff, I don't think it's safe. But you know, people are still doing it, and you know, like for people like me that don't cut a lot of weight, like you're always going to be fighting bigger people. And I think now like a lot of shows are trying to put some rules in place or something. Like I know in Australia, a show down there, after a guy passed away,
doing something
they were gonna like put some more rebellion in Melbourne. They was gonna do something to stop people from cutting too much weight and stuff, but I don't know. I
never really understood it, why you put your body through such a misery shortly before the fight, and the next day you have to be at that point that I mentioned earlier in this conversation, where everything comes together, your mindset, your physical peak, to perform. And it doesn't, I try to be a logic person, and I really love fighting. I love the people involved, but at the same time, I'm just, guys, you are just stupid. Why are you all doing this? Why nobody that I have spoken to in my entire fighting photography career or wannabe podcast career has ever enjoyed weight cutting? So I don't see the problem with just sticking together and say, we don't want to do this. What's the problem?
I don't know.
I think they can put a system in place that they definitely can, like maybe weigh in on the morning, and because your body physically can't recover that quickly if they cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But you know what? People will still do it, and there will still be like injuries and like
maybe
risky,
more.
yeah. Because people will still do it. You know, like even if there was a weigh-in in the morning, people will still cut too much weight, and it'll be dangerous. You know,
they'll just be getting on the drip, as the Thais do it. Like the Thais in Lumpini and stuff, they check weight on the same day. But I've been training with them, and they cut heaps of weight, and they get on the drip themselves. They put it in there. They've done it to me. Like, not from cutting weight. I was sick. They just come over to my house and they put it in my vein, and I was like, fuck, man, I hope there's no air in that. I'm going to die.
That is a Thailand fighting experience there, firsthand. But Eddie, how was your year, and what is coming for you 2018? As a personal fanboy, I would mention on this at this moment that I would definitely like to see you back at the WLC. Is that going to happen in 2018, or are you moving on to other things? Because K1, as you mentioned, is something that you are doing at the moment.
Yeah, I think next year I'm going to focus, because I've got my agent Eddie Lee in China. He's looking after me, and like I think next year is going to be big with him. But Lethwei and WLC, or like, man, I'm hooked. I do love it, and I do love it, and I think it brings out the nutter in you, and it's just. I don't know.
That's what I said from the beginning, man. I think you are becoming a fan favorite over there, because you always deliver war, and it's always very entertaining to see you fight, because you are so emotional involved in what you do. Yeah. And I don't know, just the last two experience, like the first experience was fine, but the last one, I got too worked up, and you know, I fucked that up a bit. But the fight, you know, like I think I could have won that fight, and it was controversial, but you know. I won't scar that as an experience. I think I can't just push. You know, I got to come back and like still fight. You know. What did you prefer more? Because the first event at the beginning of the year was under a tent right next to the airport and a golf course, and the last one was in the Yangon Indoor Stadium, the biggest stadium in Yangon. Which one did you prefer?
The first one was cooler. Hey, I think it was. I know it was outdoor, but you know, Yangon, it's warm, it's fine. You can pull it off, and it was a better fight. Like Tutu just wanted to fight. Like it was a good fight. But that second one, old mate Sauna, man, he was just strategic, and you know, he didn't want to fight me. He just wanted to, you know, he just wanted to do what he had to do to win, which was like hold me in the clinch and do gay little punches to my body.
Hashtag not homosexual. I don't know. No, man.
And, you know, that pissed me off, that fight. I think Lethwei and bare knuckles all about being a man and just fucking throwing down and not having a strategy.
Yeah, but I think that is your own mistake, because you delivered so well in your first fight that the people actually paid attention to who you are and how much heart you have. So they might have figured out that heart is not enough. You actually need to think a little bit more. So maybe that's the reason why he was holding back last time.
I think that's exactly what he did, man. He knew. I think he I guess he was smarter than me in that way, and he knew that he wouldn't win like that. So fuck it. Props to him, you know, whatever.
On to the next one. For the people who are interested, there are video interviews out there by the Fight Nation. The video of you fighting at the WLC are, of course, also online. I saw that you guys have a YouTube channel where you post a lot of stuff, but recently there hasn't been so much action going on. What's happening?
We don't know too much about YouTube. Like Brooke was telling me the other day how big it is, and like
yes, YouTube is a platform where you can watch videos, Eddie, and it's quite popular with the people.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize people like went live and like had like channels and stuff. Like I only created that just to put videos up so I can rewatch our fights like a year later and stuff. But yeah, a lot of people like watch YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the statement of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Quote
We've just
Eddie
been
Farrell.
focusing more.
Huh?
Oh, sorry, you're breaking up. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry, it broke up for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We've just been focusing more on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but yeah, maybe we should like reboot our YouTube, get on our YouTube game a bit. I don't know.
I always recommend to get busy on YouTube and social media platforms, because I know this sounds funny and very ego to other people who are not living the kind of lifestyle that you guys live as traveling fighters or me as a freelance photographer, but we live this every day. To us it becomes normal, and when I see people like you or other people that I have on the podcast, I always get the feeling of, guys, you should do more on social media, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who can get inspired by this, or people who might had their doubts, should I leave my job, should I move somewhere else? And you never know, because there is an audience for everything, and what you guys do is certainly very special, because you do it together. So I can only recommend, get your ass on YouTube, do videos, show your training. We want to know everything about you guys and how you proceed with your average day life.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think there are a lot of people in Australia and everywhere, like living on the edge, that love martial arts and stuff, and they want to move over. And then I guess if they like hear this or hear about other guys doing it, they're like, oh fuck it, that's it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I actually met a couple of people, and they're like, man, I seen you moved over, and like that's the reason why I came over as well. It's just because that I know it's possible, seeing like my friends and all people that I know in Australia do it. So yeah, it is possible, people. Just if you love it, and it's the best way to give fighting a go to see if it's
You can make it
full-time.
work. You can make anything work. Like, no matter what you want to do in life, like if you want it bad enough, you will make it work no matter what.
Yeah, and stick it out. And like, we were thinking the other day, like, we've got a new place, and it's like pretty nice for what we've been living in, and like we're saying, we can finally afford our own place with like by fighting and like eating, and we're pretty comfortable now. And
We were just saying, like the last, like we were sitting on our couch, and we haven't had a proper comfortable couch like since Australia, pretty much. And we've got a TV now, and we were just sitting there, and I turned to Eddie, and I'm like, I can't believe this. Like we're actually
we made it.
like we're actually like comfortable, you know, like the last 2 years, like we're actually sitting on a couch watching TV, and it's really awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
for us anyway. Just imagine like Mayweather and stuff; they're just rolling. Like that'd be.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
The dream's there, you know. So I'm keep aiming for the stars.
Yeah, life begins at the end of your comfort zone, as cliche as it sounds, but it is true, man. I know exactly what you talk about. I've been traveling, basically living on couch surfing for a couple of years. I slept on park benches. I slept on 5-star hotels. It's about the contrast, but that's what makes you appreciate what you actually have. So that's the reason why I think a lot of people who travel or do the extraordinary thing actually are better people, because they know how to appreciate things. My dad always gave me a little slap in the face and said, "You don't care because it's not yours." And it's so true, man. It's so true. It's very easy to get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. But talking about comfortable before, I wanted to ask you, where can we follow you on social media? Because we have been mentioning it. For the people who want to follow and see what you guys are up to, where can those people go?
We've got the Fighting Farrell's page on Facebook. It's me and Brooke, we just like had a joint athlete page, and we try and keep up to date on that, or just our Facebooks or Instagram, you know, or our YouTube channel.
Yeah, which is gonna be soon more active. And by the way, Eddie, I'm not sure if you knew, but a lot of people watch YouTube.
I'm gonna start being like one of those guys that walk around selfing video myself everywhere.
Hello, my name is Eddie. I know it sounds silly, but this is my mansion in the background. You have to do these inspirational videos.
It'll just be me and Sage, like, just having chats.
That would be very, very entertaining. But to slowly bring this to an end, because we have been recording for over an hour already, and I know you guys have to go to practice very soon and probably eat a burger before. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But Eddie, are you also going to fight in 2017 one more time, or do you call it for the year?
Yeah, I've got one more fight in 2 weeks. That bare knuckle one in Koh Samui.
Oh yeah, you told me so. In 2 weeks. What? In 2 weeks we have, today is the 11th. That would be the 23rd.
Yeah, and about 24th. I've got a popped eardrum at the moment though. It's really weird. Like I can't hear anything at all, and it's like affecting balance and stuff. But I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Yeah, that's the spirit. You love fighting too much. Sorry for asking this question. I'm sure not a lot of people like that question when they're fighting. But are you guys afraid of the day when you realize you can't fight anymore?
I think that'll be.
I haven't even thought about that though.
I think the day definitely comes, and you need to be prepared. That's why I think you just go hard, and
That's what we mean about like what we were talking about before. Like you really need to just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Like you really need to appreciate like whatever you're doing now, because everything comes to an end at some point.
And don't let yourself go. Like, don't have the half comebacks, and that's what fucks you up really bad, because you go from like at that high level where you were at to having a break, and then you go back to those guys that stayed fit and they've been winning and haven't had any time off, and I think you can't match that. And that's why like all those like UFC guys, and it's too hard, man. Like those guys are still on like a roll, and they've stayed fit and to perform at that level again. You just need to keep, stay fit, keep fighting, and don't have too much time off.
Yeah, man. Now you give me really back conscious, because I'm still waking up early in the morning every day because I enjoy it. But my exercise lately has been a little bit off schedule. I was on the road too much. But hey, who am I making excuses already in my second sentence? Not very well.
You travel so much, man.
Huh?
You travel so much, it's hard to have a routine, hey?
Yeah, it is, but it is an excuse, because I know people from the breakdance scene where I started my career, people who are very successful in that field. They travel a lot, but they also stay fit, and there is always something you can do. It's about the details in life. You have to find the small thing, even if it's just 10 push-ups in the morning, just something. So yes, it is correct. It is hard to stay on schedule when you're on the road, but at the same time, don't be a dick, Steve. Well, just do it. Jesus.
There's heaps of hotel workouts you can do.
Well, maybe I have the chance to get a training session in a Tiger Muay Thai, because I will be coming down to Phuket for a couple of days, because my man Mitch the Dragon Chilton will be there, and we're gonna take some photos. So I'm gonna come down to Phuket for a couple of days, and maybe I should just join a fighting class. I never fought, man. What would you say to somebody like me who never fought?
You take good photos though.
Yeah, but if somebody comes up to me and says, I'm going to punch you in the face, give me your camera, that doesn't really help me. I cannot say, wait a second, don't punch me, let me take a photo of you.
No, I reckon you'd fight.
Man, you have to give me at least 10 years to prepare. All right. Eddie and Brooke, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed that you were sharing your experiences and your goals and all your thoughts with my audience. And as I mentioned earlier, your social media that you mentioned where people can follow you will be below in the description on YouTube. For the people who are listening later on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Oh no, not SoundCloud anymore. I canceled that because it's just a dying platform. It's like MySpace, I believe. However, thank you so much for coming on. And what kind of practice is coming up now?
Thanks heaps, man.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we're just about to go to training in like 45 minutes. So.
What's on the schedule?
It's Muay Thai sparring tonight. So,
so all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, favorite day.
All right.
Go Russians. It's going to be fun.
Well, I hope you enjoy your practice. I'm going to take off now for 6 days. Then I'm going to have one more show, and then it's finito for the end of the year. Time to go a little bit more sabai and enjoy the beach. So I'm doing the exact opposite what Eddie just said. Don't get lazy. Don't get comfortable. God damn it. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much, Steve.
See you, mate.
See ya. Bye-bye. And there we hang up on the Farrells. What a funny couple. It's very pleasant to talk to both of them, because they have those small dialogues going on with themselves in between all the questions and conversations. That is very enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. As mentioned, all their social media links and wherever you can follow them will be on the description down below on this YouTube video. Scroll down, click on it, subscribe to it, follow it, like it, dislike it, comment, do whatever you want, but be interactive, because that is the only way that we human beings can improve. And also for the podcast, if you want to follow and listen to all the episodes that have been happening over the past 2 years, then please do so. Just Google Surrounded by Details podcast and you can find all our free audio downloads on iTunes, Podbean, SoundCloud, no, not SoundCloud, sorry, not anymore, and Overcast and Tumblr, and also on my website the audio download is available now. I'm still working on the website update. I'm taking my time. However, if you want to follow me on social media, then you can do so as well. It is steve.bonhage, steve.bonhage. That is maybe something that you wonder over why there is no E at the end of Steve. But that is because my parents don't speak English, so it's Steph. Get used to it, because I did. Took me a couple of years because everybody kept asking the question, but it is what it is. Instagram, Facebook, and as I said, if you're not a social media person, if you are not really into looking for things too much, then just go on my website, www.stevebonhage.com. All podcast audio episodes available for free download, and you can also find fight photography from the MMA world here in Southeast Asia, and of course also from the WLC, the World Lethwei Championship, where I got to know the Farrells, and you might spot a picture or two from Eddie there as well. With that being said, I shall turn the microphone down and keep on going with my Monday, because it is a lovely day, and I hope you guys have a lovely day too. And you see, here is where I just remember, if you want to support the podcast, you can also go on my website. You can click on the shop and order yourself a nice t-shirt. More designs are coming very soon because it's Christmas time. And we want you to consume. What better way is there to support your local fighters or your local podcast? That's it for me. My name is Devo. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Surrounded by Details podcast, and to stand out with my German dialect and hashtag not a native English speaking problems. I'm out.